Hello everyone and welcome to the Steelback Stadium for the running of the Kennametal 400 in the Sundrop Cup Series. We have 34 drivers out on track this weekend. A lot of fans in this packed stadium ready to watch some short track racing here in the heart of the NSDCA in Pittsburgh, PA. We again have 34 drivers in the field, leading them off. Jay Jefferson in the Coors Light 48 looking to get Coors their second win on the season after they won with Riley Spurley-Tube a while back at Road America. Alongside him is Brady Burkhart, the points leader in that number 99 by 19 points over second place Dusty Neal. Toyota looking to come out strong today, especially putting Jacob Edson in third in that 82 car. DJ Curtis, Dusty Neal rounding out your top five. Tip Foster up here as well. You got Austin Murray, Cody Goforth, Matty Porta, and Kyle Corbett. Tony Zhang Motorsports, both of Corbett's starts so far this season have ended in DNFs. The first attempt at Memphis was a blown motor. The second attempt at Richmond was a crash. This 75 team has gotten off to a rough start. They are bleeding money already. They have a lot of funding behind them, but they are bleeding a ton of money to continue racing in the Cup Series in their first season in the NSDCA. This is just their 7th career race as a team, getting a top 10 start, the second top 10 start of the season after Anderson Reed's pole at Atlanta. They're trying to get themselves into victory lane, or at least to finish a race clean as can be. Max Anderson in the 51 starts 12th. He was a driver for Zachary Racing back in the Dr. Pepper Dash Series last season. He left the team, went on hiatus, came back, and now he is in a Johnson Performance number 51 for a good portion of the schedule this year. But he's ran a couple short tracks so far for the team. Some mediocre performances there, though. DJ Gibson, the first week since he's come back that he's not starting up front, but we have one new team, another new team in the Cup entry field for today. It is Digital Motorsports with Kyle Corbett Motorsports' Tony Wallen behind the wheel of the 42 for their debut. This team does not have as much funding behind it. It has iFly as a sponsor for all 18 remaining races of the season, but not very many secondary or associate sponsors, so not a lot of funding there. If they crash this car, that could be hard for them to get out of that hole so early. Further back, there's Cody Smart, most likely making another start and park appearance. There's no pit crew on pit road for that team. Joseph Strigley picking up a new sponsor, Xylem, for the next 12 races on the season. But Luke Rainey getting a one-off appearance in the BK Racing number 23. He rolls off in the 33rd position. He would have started, I believe, inside the top 20. However, failed inspection for BKR. They are at the back as well. Aiden Smith, the second Smart Motorsports entry this weekend. Both 72s failed inspection after qualifying, so they both started from the back. In the MDCS race, he tried to fight up through with Mathis Wells. Let's see what Aiden Smith can do in that number 72. Aiden would have started only about 26, though, so it doesn't really matter. Let's go ahead down trackside for the commands to fire the engines. We are ready for 100 laps at the Kennametal 400 at Steelback.
Drivers, start your engines.
Pepsi and the NSDCA have teamed up this season to bring you the Pepsi Pole Award for the fastest qualifier in all 26 Sundrop Cup Series races this season. Jay Jefferson in the Coors Light 48, coming off of a win at Richmond, picks right back up with the pole here at Steelback, looking to go 2 for 2 on the short tracks in the last 2 weeks. Let's see if Jay can get it done here at the Steelback Stadium in Pittsburgh, PA. With that, the engines are fired. We got 34 drivers rolling off for 100 laps here at Steelback. Jefferson and Burkhart on row 1, Edson and Curtis row 2, row 3, Neal and Foster, Murray, Goforth, Porta, and Kyle Corbett will be your top 10 here at Steelback. Jay Jefferson, Brady Burkhart on the front row. 2 of the strongest drivers so far coming off of last week at Richmond is Jay Jefferson coming off of a race win, and Brady Burkhart, of course, your points leader by 19 points over 5th place starter Dusty Neal. 34 drivers rolling off. The short tracks always have been chaotic in the NSDCA. I don't think we've had a sane one for years. So we'll see how Steelback is for the Cup Series. It was a relatively calm Mountain Dew Custom Series race earlier this weekend. However, we have 100 laps with some of the best in the garage area, some of the fastest cars you'll see on the track in the NSDCA. Jefferson and Burkhart lead us down. Green flag is in the air, and we are racing at the Steelback Stadium for the Kennametal 400. Immediately, Jefferson tries to clear and will clear Burkhardt, but Edson is going to jump that 82 right to the inside. Cody Goforth into the wall further back, but Edson now wants that second spot from Burkhardt. Curtis might want that third spot from Burkhardt. Neal and Foster fighting their way up here as well. We got a lot of cars up here. Kyle Corbett forcing his way on up. There is Tib Foster now doing a crossover on his driver, Dusty Neal. That's the battle for that 5th position as they head around on lap number 2 coming off of the corner. Neal slides up. Contact there. Foster to the apron. Saves it. Nice and clean save for the 40 car. That's going to be sketchy. We saw in practice a couple guys go off down there, and it could have caused some big problems, so it's hard to break on that apron. We'll see how that'll play out this race. Kyle Corbett in that 75 now getting up here. There's Matty Porta. There's Matthew Eves. 3 wide almost, and they will be 3 wide as Kukulon's going to shove it to the middle. Some contact further back. Morris and Strigley around. It looks like Luke Rainey might have got a piece of that. Gatlin Downey to the apron. He's going to come back up and save it. Caution is out here at Steelback, and Jefferson, Edson, Burkhardt, Curtis, your top 4. Dusty Neal sits 5th as we're going to pace back around. And already we got an incident. Joseph Strigley and that 63 Team Smarts bringing the car down pit road. Joseph Strigley has right side damage. Morris has damage. Luke Rainey, some heavy damage to that 23 car. So that's heartbreaking for BK Racing, who has been really struggling on funds for a while. Joseph Strigley as well. That's an owner-driver team, just him at that operation. So 2 cars torn up. Cody Smart bringing it down to retire the car for his start and park. Jefferson, Edson, and Burkhardt, your top 3, as they pace on around. Only 3 laps into the event, and we have a spin. Let's go ahead and take a quick look, see what happened to bring out the first caution of the day here at Steelback. For the first caution of the day, Joseph Strigley in the 63. They kind of stack up top. Spurley tube into the wall. Morris spins across and into the 63. Spins Strigley around, and then he and Rainey actually have some contact after that there. But Morris with most of the damage there. The 63, the 61, and the 23 all have a little bit of damage from it. An early spin here at the right off the bat here at Steelback brings us to the first caution. Lights on the pace car went out this time. Jay Jefferson, your race leader. Jacob Edson, 2nd. Brady Burkhardt, 3rd. Curtis, 4th. And Neal in 5th. Tib Foster, 6th. Kyle Corbett, 7th. Matty Porta, 8th. Matthew Eves, 9th. And Sebastian Kukulon sits 10th. Murray, Anderson, Hagen, DeLello, Goforth, your top 15. Butcher, Gibson, Onjak, Rogers, and Gatlin Downey in the 35 coming out of line. A flat tire on the 35. It must have been from hitting that apron. That's going to cost him. It just goes from bad to worse every week in the NSDCA for GDI. They crashed, I believe they crashed with Jose Perez in the Mountain Dew Custom Series race. Now he's damaged with a flat tire. Pretty much going to put him multiple laps down unless we get a caution immediately. But Downey out of that 20th position. Spurley Tube will take the 20th position for the restart. Jefferson, Edson, Burkhardt, Curtis, and Neal, your top 5 as they come back around. 7 laps complete here at Steelback. Green flags back in the air at the Kennametal 400. Great restart by Jefferson, but Neal gets a great one back here. It looks like he might have some damage to the side of that car, maybe from that contact with team owner Foster, but he's looking for a spot there, looking for that 4th position away from Curtis as Foster hunts behind him. Kyle Corbett up there. Now Kukulon moves to the inside and passes Matthew Eves. Eves has been really showing speed on tracks that he really has never done before in the NSDCA. The super speedways are his bread and butter. The big tracks, the 2-mile ovals even, where you can just go flat out and drive your heart out with some fast equipment. He's never really seen that before. We got a contact in the back. Strigley spins out Luke Rainey. I don't think they're happy because you saw under that. I don't know what happened between them, but they are not happy with each other. Strigley turns that 23 around, so Rainey's dropped back now. But Edson in 2nd, Burkhardt 3rd, Curtis 4th, Neal 5th, Foster 6th. That's been the same this whole time. Porta is looking for that 7th position on Kyle Corbett, and it looks like this time he's going to get it done. Now Kukulon, the owner of Kyle Corbett in the Mountain Dew Custom Series, he's going to look to the inside now on that 75, and he's going to dive it in. Look at Sebi making moves here. He got that win at Memphis in the Truck Series. Contact between those guys. Look at these guys back here. Stephen Wallace Jr. sliding sideways, but they are 3 wide between a bunch of drivers. Max Anderson, Zachary DeLello, Peter Onjak, DJ Gibson in the Samsung colors this week as Sirius XM is on that 27. Carter Friesen in the 85. The 28 is Zach Rogers is going to make it 3 wide. Rogers did not have too good of a run yesterday in the Mountain Dew Custom Series race. DeLello and Friesen going to bounce off the wall. Carson Bowers across in front of Tony Wallen and Diego Yepes. That 42 team does not want to tear that car up yet. They don't have the sponsorship and the funding right now to have to pay for a brand new 42 immediately. But a lot of guys were getting crazy back there. Top 4 now pulling away. Porta and Kukulon now taking the fight to Tib Foster up here in the battle for that 6th position. 1 car, 1 lap down. That is Gatlin Downey. Heartbreaking for that 35 team to have to go 1 lap down. Jefferson, though, out in the race lead. Caution. Caution is out on the racetrack. It looks like Carson Bowers and Bobo Jones in that. Diego Yepes might have also gotten a piece of it. But they will come back, rack and stack them back up for possibly another restart 14 laps into this event. Joseph Strigley in that 63 might want to stay away from Luke Rainey and Jacob Rose after this race because those two probably are not too happy with him. It looks like Max Anderson going to play some alternate strategy, going to bring that car down pit road. Riley Spurley Tube's coming down as well. Yepes, Bowers, and Bobo Jones most likely were the 3 involved in this last incident, so they are going to bring it on down, probably repair tires, get some new, repair the car and get some new tires on the car. They're going a bit off sequence. The fuel window here, 35 to 40 laps. So I believe any way you slice it by maxing those fuel windows, it's 2 pit stops. Right now, if you go 40 and 40, you could only need to make 1 more pit stop. If you are guys like Spurley Tube, Max Anderson, these guys that came down, but you'd have to stretch the fuel a little bit, stretch the fuel and tires a little bit longer. So I don't know if they'll have to make just 1 more stop in the race or 2 stops. Everyone else on track will have to make 2 pit stops. We'll see when those will come. Depending on the cautions, we could have more than 2. But definitely 2 required pit stops. Big crash here into turn number 3. A couple guys spun around, and we also got to see what happened to Luke Rainey in that 23. Him and Joseph Strigley now sitting back to back. Here at the back could be some tempers flaring as we go back racing here. But a couple guys go around. Let's go ahead, take a quick look, see what happened to bring out the 2nd caution of the day here at Steelback. Now, I don't know if this is necessarily payback, but Strigley does get into and spin out the 23. Don't know why they'd be too unhappy with each other other than that incident. But Bobo Jones, the 95, came up a bit wide off the corner into Carson Bowers, back into Yepes. Yepes spins down with some damage to that car. So both BGM cars damaged in this one, but some heavy damage to 25 and 95. And Carson even expresses a little displeasure after that, after Bobo got into him. A couple cars around at the back of this one brings us to the 2nd caution of the day. Back live here at the Steelback Stadium. Jay Jefferson in the race lead. Jacob Edson 2nd. Brady Burkhardt 3rd. DJ Curtis 4th. Dusty Neal in 5th. Matty Porta 6th. Tib Foster 7th. Kukulon 8th. Corbett 9th. And Matthew Eves 10th. Murray 11th. Hagan 12th. Butcher 13th. Onjak 14th. Zach Rogers 15th. Gibson, DeLello, Goforth, Lane, and Freeze in your top 20. Tony Wallen into 21st. Stephen Wallace Jr. Aiden Smith. Irving Allison. Brandon Morris. Joseph Strigley. Luke Rainey. Max Anderson. Diego Yepes, Carson Bowers, Riley Spurley Tube, Bobo Jones, and Gatlin Downey round out the rest of the field with Downey 1 lap down. Everyone's still on the track except Cody Smart, so 33 cars on the track, 32 on the lead lap, 17 to 100 complete, coming around to take lap 18, about halfway through a fuel run for some of these guys. Jefferson and Edson lead us down. Green flags back in the air here at Steelback for another restart. Down into 1 they go. Most of the field stay in single file. It looks like as long as you just get a decent enough jump, you can hang on and stay single file up front. But Foster pressuring Porta. Hagan trying to get around Austin Murray back here. Onjak applying some pressure to Ryan Butcher as Friesen drops back. Onjak now is going to ride it all the way up into Butcher, almost back down into Rogers. He was really pushing off the quarter in that 44, and that almost took out a couple guys there and a spin right in front of the field there. The problem area has pretty much been turn 2 in the backstretch. That's where all the crashes have been, all 3 incidents we've had today. Matty Porta now around Dusty Neal and Tib Foster. He's inside the top 5 and looking for even more as he goes after DJ Curtis. Burkhardt now looking for a way to get around teammate Jacob Edson, and Edson's going to be shoved wide by Burkhardt. That's a battle right there for that 2nd position. Onjak and Kukulon bounce off the wall further back. But Edson now has Burkhardt to his inside. Maybe not what Jefferson wants to see. He knows Burkhardt has the car that could get up there and pass him, but I don't think Edson does, as Burkhardt is all over the inside of Edson. Edson has been really good on the short tracks this season. Memphis, he drove through the field. Richmond, he really drove through the field. And now here at Steelback, started 3rd, right now running 2nd for Shade Burkhardt Racing. But Brady now on the inside of that 82. Neal looking for a move on Porta further back as Jefferson begins to pull away. But Burkhardt and Edson going at it for the 2nd spot. Jefferson hoping to see that 82 defend. Not going to happen. Burkhardt clears himself into that 2nd position. Now looking further back to this battle between Neal and Porta. It looks like Porta's going to hang on. defended on that outside line successfully. Burkhart now catching on up. Butcher making a move to the inside of Hagen and Murray. Kukulon moving on through. This is the trouble spot. This is the danger spot. Outside of the top 8 or 9, we've seen on multiple restarts. Up front, they get spread out, but in the back, it's just 2x2. There's so much dirty air. Your car just does not handle. You're trying to get off the corner perfectly. You get in the gas too early, maybe scrape the wall, maybe try to stay off the wall and overcorrect into someone, and that brings out the spin. Diego Yepes looks to be the slowest car on track there. He is 1 lap down. They might have came back down to repair that car even further. We'll take a look. No, there was no issue there. So, yeah, heartbreak for Yepes, who was 3rd in points entering this weekend. Edson has gotten back by Burkhart, actually, as we were looking through that. So now Burkhart has to restart this process all over again. Looking back to the inside of Edson. SBR trying to put the pressure on TSR's number 48, but Jay Jefferson has just been pulling away with this one. He's led all laps so far this race. Burkhart now looking to the inside of Edson as Eves passed Corbett, or is trying to hang on over Corbett further back. Side by side for that second spot. The inside line, if you pinch him, coming off of these corners. Caution is back out here at Steelback. Once again, it's Carson Bowers. Carter Friesen might have had a piece of that one. But as we said, the inside line, if you can pinch that inside line, they really cannot stop you here. But Edson, Burkhart, I don't know if they're coming on in. They are not coming on in, but Corbett is. Burkhart is going to get the nod by the NSDCA to be 2nd. But Corbett's coming on in. Kukulon, Gibson, Zach Rogers, DeLello, Wallen, Spurley 2, Bobo Jones, Luke Rainey, Carson Bowers, all going to bring it on in. So this right here, 26 to 100, you're about 12 laps away from maybe making a scheduled pit stop. So that is what these guys are doing. They're going to go ahead and get just a little off cycle. I think pitting here, you can make it a 2-stop race still if you stretch it. The 35-35 would get you to about a little over. You'd have to stretch it a little over 35 to get you out to 100. Friesen, did he come down and pit? Or did they come down and pit? I don't know if Friesen actually came down and pit, or he just drove through pit road. We'll get an update of that after this. I didn't see him come down, but his pit stop might have been, or pit box might have been further back. I don't know where Friesen would have pit from, but it looks like he just came through pit road, or they came through pit road and just did that. There's the 75. Corbett, Kukulon, Gibson, Rogers, Bowers, DeLello, they come on out as well. So Jefferson in the race lead, Burkhart 2nd, Edson 3rd, Curtis 4th, Porta 5th. A lot of guys still staying out on track are going to have to come in soon, maybe hoping that this Wreckfest continues on. Friesen coming back down pit road, so maybe he missed maybe they missed their pit box there in that 85 team. So, and they come in. I don't know what's going on with the 85. That could be an issue for Friesen there. We'll get an update, maybe get a pit reporter down there to see what's going on. But Jefferson, Burkhart, Edson, your top 3. Looks like all the way back to about Joseph Strigley, Diego Yepes. This group of guys stayed out. Some of them came in on a previous caution, but we're going to go ahead and take a quick look, see what happened to bring out the 3rd caution of the day. Friesen and Bowers most likely going around. So Bowers will be the one to go around again in the exact same incident. This time Rainey goes wide, sticks into him, and they hit basically the exact same way that he did with Bobo. So this 25, that's the 2nd incident of the day early on in this race. Going to take him even further back with more damage. Heartbreaking start to the season for Carson Bowers and that Orange Auto 25 team. Back live here at the Kennametal 400. Jefferson, Burkhart, Edson, Curtis, and Porter, your top 5. We got a report on the 85 team. It was a flat tire on the replay. You saw him down on the apron, or you saw them down on the apron as they came down to pit road. But Friesen, really, that's heartbreaking for them. About a lap down. They are going to have to try to do anything they can to gain some spots, but being a lap down, that's pretty much that's a pretty hard task to try to gain, especially when you're that far back at a track that has very little passing near the front to get around the leader, get a lap back. Anyway, Jay Jefferson in the race lead, Burkhart 2nd, Edson 3rd, Curtis 4th, and Porta 5th. Some of these guys are going to have to come on in soon. They're going to have to come pit soon, so We'll have to see how this race will stack up. If another caution happens early, it might save them from going a lap down, but those guys in the back might have been able to play some strategy to get themselves to the front. Jefferson leads us back around as they come out of turn number 2, and now Burkhardt all over the back of him. This is the threat that Jefferson did not want to see. That 99 very fast here at Steelback and very fast in general. Curtis now going to get a nose to the inside of Edson and tries to put it up there. Now Burkhardt looking for the race lead on Jefferson. These restarts is where you're going to have to make these moves, and now Burkhardt to the bottom and clear of Jay Jefferson. He takes that spot. Now Jefferson trying to hang on over Jacob Edson, who's trying to make a move for second. SBR 1-2 trying to happen here. Burkhardt's going to pull away, and Edson is going to clear Jefferson. No, he will not, as Jefferson fights back on the outside. Still side by side for that second spot, but now he'll clear him, and Curtis looks for a move to the inside on that 48, and that is the battle right there, side by side down the back as they go. Max Anderson a bit wide, and he slides around. Remember, these guys have older tires than the ones at the back that pit. So we'll have to see what'll happen. We'll have to see when these guys will make their pit stops and come on down. Get that fuel and tires. We're coming to the fuel window shortly, just a few laps away from that fuel window opening up. Burkhardt in the race lead. Edson, Jefferson, Curtis, and Porter, your top 5. Now as they single file out, Onjak trying to fight his way on up. Joseph Strigley involved in that earlier incident is 3 wide back here with Yepes trying to make a move on through. Yepes and Downey both a lap down, so they're going to have to hope that maybe during this pit cycle, and these guys up front all come down and pit, that they might be able to gain some laps there. But these guys up front most likely hoping and praying for a caution, hoping that these guys in the back go crazy. And you see them, they're pretty much all on the back of each other. Some guys making it 3 wide, some making it 2 wide. There's Kyle Corbett. He was one of the first ones down pit road under that last caution, so the 75 could be sitting in a good position there as they run right now, but we'll have to see if they can make it to the end. Stephen Wallace Jr. going to swing it wide. We got to remember, though, there were some cautions, so you could save some fuel. You could run a little less fuel. Might be able to stretch it a bit further. The tires won't be as cooked. Edson now has Jefferson all over the back of him. That's the battle for that second position as Burkhardt in the 99 starts to pull away, but we'll see. We'll see what this... We'll see if the pit strategy, if we end up with some green flag pit stops, we'll see if these guys can make it down that pit road properly for this, because it is sort of difficult pit road to make it down. Jefferson goes wide. That's going to bring Curtis back into this, as it's now Burkhardt and Edson out in front. Curtis goes wide. That's enough for Porta and that Sauber Racing team trying to get on up there. They've had a pretty bad season in all terms of things. They're 8th in points, which is great, but man, their qualifying has been atrocious. They've had to drive through the field each race and just score some top 10s at the back half of the top 10. Now Porta fighting inside the top 5, looking for that. Porta right now only has 1 top 5 in the 6 races so far this season, so you know that he was hungry for a very strong run right now out here at Steelback. Looking further back, 3 wide, DeLello is really tearing through this field. He might have came down pit road last time. I don't remember who actually came down, but I know everyone went for 4 tires that came down pit road. DeLello is tearing his way through this field pretty early. Gibson now looking to the inside of Corbett. Corbett does not want to lose too many spots. Hagen a bit slow on that inside line. So contact there. Strigley's going to go around with Kukalon. Irving Allison nowhere to go. Bowers right into the back of him as he just piles in. Might have hit some oil there, but that is a saving grace for Burkhardt, Edson, Jefferson, and the others that stayed out under that last caution. They should be able to come in under this caution. Bring it on down. Burkhardt staying out. Edson, Curtis, Porta. These guys, why are those 2 staying out? A lot of these guys are staying out, but a lot are also coming in. So they must think with all these cautions we've had, they must be saving big time. But I don't know why you wouldn't come in now. These guys are 4 wide. Trying to pace on around, but a lot of drivers in the back are coming back on in. You got Tony Wallen back there. Carson Bowers, heavy damage. Second time at a short track, he's piled into a crash. Heartbreaking there. But Burkhardt out in front. Will Edson actually lead that lap? No, I think Burkhardt led the lap. But a few more drivers coming on in. They're going to go 4 tires and fuel. So 41 laps just over the fuel window. Had to be some saving being done on these pace laps. So we'll see. We'll see what they will do under this caution. It's going to be 4 tires and fuel for these guys. That's pretty much what you got to do as the pit crews go to the attention of all those teams. 4 tires and fuel. Porta is going to come on out. We'll see if Porta up there will be the first one out. No, Edson will be the first one out. Curtis, Porta, Neal, Onjak go forth. It looks like Tony Wallen, Matthew Eves. So Eves is going to lose some time, but Wallen might have gained a spot, though a lot of guys did stay out on track. Couple of them coming on in this time by Ryan Butcher, Brady Burkhart going to come on in. So Burkhart maybe just did not want to tear up the car. Maybe he's trying to pit a lap later, so he has just a little bit more fuel in that car. So the SBR guys coming down with a bit of strategy there. Burkhart, though, is going to drop to the back. We'll see how far he can gain up through the field on a bit fresher tires. There's Irving Allison's damaged race car on pit road. But currently, the way I have it, Jefferson, Tim Foster, Colton Lane, they have not come down pit road as of yet. I believe the rest of the field has come on down. But, of course, we'll see on this next restart. Jefferson, he has the one win. He's right now 5th in points. I don't see why not go for a crazy strategy. Maybe just hope for another caution to come out. Foster's going to bring it on in now, so they're kind of just every so often coming down pit road, which is interesting there. But Foster bringing it on down. Jefferson there out in front, though. Colton Lane, Zachary DeLello, Max Anderson, and Kyle Corbett will be your top 5 here at Steelback when we go back racing. Starting to shape up. The turn 2 is the trouble corner. Strigley 3 wide with Kukulon. Goes up to the outside, swings back down and into Kukulon. Just not a lot of grip on the outside of these corners, and those guys sent it in. Carson Bowers piles in again, his 3rd incident of the day. Pretty much going to take him out of this one, but 3 wide up here. A couple guys getting together further back. Irving Allison, Carson Bowers stack up in it as well. Bobo Jones might have got a piece of it, but we get another big one here. 4th caution of the day. It's Steelback. Back live here at Steelback. You didn't miss much of a thing, but Kyle Corbett, a suspension issue on the 75. They are complaining about a vibration in the suspension, and that's going to take that 75 team out of this one. Larry Hagan does not have an issue. He's just wondering where Kyle Corbett's going. Tim Foster is down pit road. They are getting those 4 tires, so of course he didn't miss much. He will line up at the back of this one. So some guys playing some later fuel strategy, trying to get as much fuel in that car as they can. But Kyle Corbett, the 75 team, having such a good day, they are pretty much going to be done with this one. The 3rd incident in 3 races for Corbett this season for Tony Zhang Motorsports. Top 5 coming on around. The only 2 that have not pit have to be Jefferson and Lane, so we'll see what they can do. They both have wins this season to fall back on. Maybe they're just trying to get some crazy stuff happening out here at Steelback. Green flags back in the air. Jefferson out in front over Lane. DeLello now in that 57 is not going to waste any time. Gibson to the bottom on Hagan. That's a spot there. That's for a top 5 run. And now DeLello is going to try to get and clear Colton Lane as they come off the corner. Riley Spurley in the 61 for Hagan Enterprises, going to the inside of team boss Larry Hagan. That's a great thing to see there for that 61 team. But DeLello now on the inside line, side by side for 2nd with Colton Lane. TJ Gibson back in 5th, but Max Anderson in the 51 moving his way up into that 4th position. Jefferson staying out as long as he can. Must have saved some good fuel there. They're going to come on down. 2 cars into the wall further back. That's Bobo Jones and Tony Wallen. Battle for 3rd now as Lane's dropping back. And you see the difference in tires there. Here comes DeLello with a big run in that 57. He's going to look to the inside and pass Jefferson for the race lead. The tires playing the factor here as he's going to get up there and try to battle this 48. Can he get there? No, he cannot. Not that time. Curtis and Hagan are going to make some contact there. Hagan might not have any tires either. Another spin in the back. They just cannot keep it straight in the back. Strigley's in it. Rainey's in it. Stephen Wallace Jr. Aiden Smith, no caution. Jefferson, heartbreaking there. He might just lose a lap now if he comes down to pit at this point, but he's out in front. DeLello now going to jump to the inside for 2nd. Or for the race lead. He is 2nd. That's for the race lead once again. DeLello has had heartbreak this season. He is right now, if I can find him in the standings, he is 15th in points. Not very strong for this car this season. And it's no top 5s, no top 10s for DeLello this year. It's been a heartbreak of a schedule so far, and right now they are in the race lead at Steelback. A great run to see him out in front. Coming up to the halfway point, Max Anderson 3rd, 4th, DJ Gibson. Carter Friesen is moving. No, Carter Friesen, they are a lap down. 5th is Zach Rogers, 6th Riley Spurley. The 75 team has retired the car from the event. Heartbreaking there to see for Kyle Corbett, who was having such a good run going so far. Edson in the 82 is trying to move his way through the field. Matty Porta is all over the back of the 82. Friesen really wants that lead lap, and they are making their way through the field quickly. Jefferson up the track. I think those tires are pretty much shot in that 48 car, but 50 laps through. Man, they saved a ton of fuel on pit road. Everyone else has come down except Jefferson and Lane this race. Stephen Wallace Jr. out in front of DeLello with some fresher tires. Friesen now looking to the inside of Gibson. That's for that third car in line there. But Stephen Wallace Jr. does not want to lose any more laps. He is right now only 1 lap down. But DeLello trying to make the move. Aiden Smith now in that 72 is going to jump to the bottom. But Zachary DeLello, the Applebee's 57, out in front. Friesen clears Gibson. Gibson third. Curtis moving his way back through the field. He took that pit stop moving his way back. Zach Rogers in the 28 moving his way back up. Diego Yepes, Brandon Morris with some heavy damage. There's Dusty Neal. There's Burkhart moving his way through. Picked up already a good handful of spots as you see all the cars that he's passed. Larry Hagan definitely has not come down pit road yet. Contact between Bobo Jones and Luke Rainey. Man, Rainey's just being beat up today. Jefferson is still staying out. Those tires got to be dead. Now this is raising the question, if Jefferson can make 53 laps on fuel, we've had multiple cautions. Do these guys come down for the tires or do they come down for the fuel? We saw in practice. We don't have any numbers really to go off of here, but we saw in practice it was about 35 to 40 lap runs for the guys that were running the longest around. So maybe they were coming down for tires and not fuel. But either way, Jefferson is really stacking up this field. And now he's on that bottom. He's going to bring it on in. And there's Jefferson coming on in. 54 laps through this one. That might mean he can make it to the end on just 1 stop. But this is a wacky strategy here. Colton Lane's still stuck out there. He hasn't come in yet because I don't think he's been able to get to the inside yet. And it's just dropping to the back on that 05 team. But now Zachary DeLello has absolutely pulled away with Jefferson holding him up. Curtis is up to second in that 5 car. Wow, that's a run for Curtis so far, but he is now behind teammate Carter Friesen, who is a lap down trying to get his their lap back in that 85 team. Porta on the inside of Riley Spurleytube. That is for the 5th position. And let's just give a shout out to Spurleytube at Hagen Enterprises. Right now, as Porta goes by him, they're going to be 6th. But wow, what a race they've had so far. They were in the back. They survived some calamity. 6th position so far for that 61 team. And if they could stay up front, come home with a top 10, that is sure to be exciting for Larry Hagan there and that operation. But Hagan, Yepes down pit road. We're going to take a look back. Colton Lane has finally come down. Gatlin Downey's down. He's a lap down, and so is Larry Hagan. So that is the rest of the field has cycled through and taken their pit stops. Aiden Smith and Stephen Wallace Jr. pulling away from DeLello, actually, but Curtis is on fire in that 5 car. 57 of 100 complete. We're going to take a quick commercial break, bring guys back to the action here at the Steelback Stadium. DeLello, Curtis, Gibson, Porta, and Zach Rogers, your top 5 as they pace around here at Steelback.
For every turn, a twist. For every start, an untimely finish. For every win, someone who loses it. For every number, a nation. For every celebration, a brawl. For every split second, years of work. For every heaven, a hell. For every good old boy, a good old girl. For every curse, a prayer. For every ounce of order, a jug of chaos. For every twist, there's a turn.
Back live here at Steelback. We weren't going to come back this early, but a battle for the race lead starting to brew up. Aiden Smith has been holding up DeLello for a couple laps. Curtis with some fresher tires down to the bottom. Porta has also gained into 3rd, but DJ Curtis wants this race lead away from DeLello, and he's going to take it. Give the race lead to Curtis. The 3rd time this season he's going to grab the race lead and could sail off to a victory. Let's see if Curtis can do that. We have still 38 laps to go, so possibly one more pit stop for all these drivers. Except maybe Jay Jefferson. Jefferson's back there. He is currently only 1 lap down, or 2 laps down to that 48, but it does take about 2 laps to pace around and do those pit stops. So we'll see if Jay can somehow save another 50 laps of fuel and make this a one-stop on a crazy strategy. But I think with that win last week, why not go for a crazy strategy? Curtis is around Aiden Smith, so that's going to put Smith another lap down. But Curtis now puts some gap between him and DeLello. And I don't think DeLello's too upset about that. He's one of the fan favorites in the garage, one of the nice guys you see on track. And at that point, he was already slowing up to Aiden Smith. He had some older tires, gave Curtis that inside line, let him by. And DeLello's probably not too bummed about losing a win. I think getting a top 5 or even a top 10 this season is going to be a win so far for him, because that team has been just heartbreak after heartbreak. No top 5s, no top 10s. Average finish of 17th this season. It's not been good for Zachary DeLello so far. But Porta in third. He's really pushing. Another driver pushing. Jacob Edson has moved his way into the top 5. Now chasing DJ Gibson. And look at Brandon Morris, a damaged race car after an early incident. He's up in 6th in this 55. So those varying pit strategies, a couple guys coming in later than others, even a couple laps later, is really shaking up the field. You did not see guys like DeLello, Gibson up here. And Eves into the wall further back. Spurley tubes down pit road, but Eves spins across the track in that 47. That'll be a caution, and that'll shake this field up once again. Curtis out in front. Porta was just about to catch DeLello. And now, Spurley tube on, Rainey's on pit road. Spurley tube also on pit road. He might lose a lap here in that 61. No, Everyone is going to jump on down, except if you're a lapper and you see Jay Jefferson. Jefferson, that strategy is not going to play out for him, nor will it play out for Colton Lane. But everyone who is on the lead lap is coming on in, and this will be the money stop right here. Spurley Tube actually is going to stay on the lead lap. He might be the race leader when this all cycles out. But yeah, everyone who is not a lap down, you see there, those are all lappers that have stayed out on track so far, or guys that have just pit, so they are a lap down. Everyone else on the lead lap, 4 tires and fuel right here. There's no need to do strategy. You're not going to gain much with still 30 laps to go. You're not going to be able to go out there and win this race. Spurley Tube just gets out in time, and he might be your race leader. He will stay on the lead lap, but he might be the race leader after this. We'll have to see what'll happen. But there's Burkhardt coming on into his pit box. Jacob Edson coming on in. It's 4 tires and fuel for everyone. There's no need to play strategy. You just got to hope your pit crew capitalizes here. Curtis is going to be the first one out. Porta second. Edson is going to gain a spot to third. I think he beats out DeLello. Gibson 5th. Morris 6th. Burkhardt's going to be back inside the top 10, so we'll see if that 99 can move his way up. Neil Murray staying out there. They're going to come back on through. Srigley and Tony Wallen. If those guys are still on the lead lap, that's pretty good, especially for Wallen. His first Cup start, first time with the team, and now he is sitting in the 20th position, which is the last car on the lead lap outside of Carter Friesen. I don't know where Friesen is. Did they just come down pit road in that 85? Yeah, Friesen just came down pit road in the 85, so they are going to be a lap down still. So it looks like the top 20 all on the lead lap. So if you're on the lead lap, you're getting that TUP. That's pretty much what's happening there. Tony Wallen, Joseph Srigley up there. But the problem for these guys in the race lead, for Curtis, Porta, and the rest, all these lappers are going to be lining up in front. Since they did not come down pit road and cycle to the back of the grid, that means they stand 7 cars in front of Curtis. And if we know one thing, if you are in dirty air, you have a very likely chance that someone will take you 3 wide, someone will pass you. So the possibility for Porta, Edson, DeLello, Gibson, Morris, Spurley Tube, Rogers, these guys here, capitalize on these lappers that are going to be in front, because that might get you a race win. We're going to go ahead, take a quick look, see what happened to bring out the caution with, I believe, Matthew Eves. As we go 1 to go, we'll get a quick replay. Bring us back to the action after this. Simple incident here for the 5th caution of the day. Matthew Eves in the 47 is going to go up the track, bounce off of the wall. Cody Goforth comes by, gets into him, they spin, but nothing else for Eves. He is not hit by anyone. 47 car spins out for caution 5. Hopefully that nice quick replay will bring us back to live, but the 51 of Max Anderson. Engine failure on the 51, so that is both the 75 and the 51 who are having pretty good runs today. They are going to expire in the stages of this one. Downey, Jefferson, Lane, Yepes, Hagan, Rainey, all right there. Those all 1 lap down, except Rainey trying to hang on to that lead lap position. but it's DJ Curtis in the race lead. We're going to look at them. The top 6 will be the ones controlling this restart, but Curtis has to try to hang on over Porta, Edson, DeLello with lappers in front. That's just how short track racing is here in the Cup Series. 6 drivers in front of him, but Curtis is going to lead the competitive field down. Green flags back in the air here at Steelback, and they're going to dive. Porta and Edson look to the bottom, but Curtis throws the block as he tries to make his move under Rainey. Now, can Porta get a run off the corner? Look at Gibson roughing up team owner Zachary DeLello as he makes a move. That's for the 4th position, and Gibson, he is right now only 28th in points, close enough to Strigley that he might pass him in the points this race. Caution's back out, and that is lucky for a lot of drivers. Those 5 are going to get out of there. They're going to be able to stay just 1 lap down, but these guys right here, Edson, Porta, they're just going to have Luke Rainey to deal with as a lapper instead. It looks like possibly Aiden Smith, possibly Stephen Wallace Jr. getting into it, but Rainey will submit himself between Edson and the top guys, so Rainey's going to have to try to stay out of the way of those drivers unless he comes down and pits like a nice guy. But most of the rest of this field is continuous lead lap drivers, so that's good though. Porta and Curtis might be the 2 to settle this race here at Steelback. 72 of 100 complete. We'll go ahead, get a quick replay up on your screen because it does not look like there are anyone coming down to pit road. You don't have to pit the rest of this race. You are good on fuel and tires. So we'll see how this will go to the end. But a caution again here at Steelback brings us to yet another couple pace laps. Another simple incident. It's Aiden Smith in the 72 this time. He's up the track just a little bit, but he and Wallace Jr. are going to make contact. They spin back down into Irving Allison, and then the 72 backs it into the outside wall. Stephen Wallace Jr. damaged as well. 2 cars in it this time. 6th caution of the day. It's not a short track race here in the NSDCA without a bunch of crashes, but we've had a pretty good showing out here for the Cup Cars' first time in the home of the NSDCA, Steelback Stadium. DJ Curtis in the race lead, Porta 2nd, Rainey is a lapper, but Edson 3rd, DeLello 4th, Gibson 5th, Spurley 2, Boris, Onjak, Butcher, and Burkhart. Your top 10. Brady has to gain a lot if he wants to try to win this race since he was dominant so early on. Jefferson, the other contender from early on, is out of this one. 20 cars on the lead lap only, so that top 20 looking to get that TUP after this race. Curtis, Porta, Edson, DeLello, and Gibson, your top 5 with the lapper of Rainey in the middle. Green flag is going to be coming back around. 25 laps to go. Can DJ Curtis finally close out a victory? Green flags back in the air here at Steelback. Edson already going to look to the bottom. Porta and Curtis pull away, but now because of Rainey, DeLello is there. Gibson looking to the bottom on DeLello. They're going to be 3 wide coming off the corner. Edson's forced into the wall. Riley Spurley tube across and onto the apron. Please do not kill the field. Coming back up, and he will. Into Onjak. Butcher, heavy damage. Cody Goforth's going to get a piece of it as they come back down. Strigley's in it in the 63, and now more carnage, more chaos, and these late race restarts are going to bring more wrecks as they went 3 wide. Edson get forced 3 wide. He's still behind Rainey. Irving Allison's day is done. He's stalled. Riley Spurley tube. Hagen Enterprises. A top 10 run. And the car is toast. Joseph Srigley, big hit there. His car is now toast. Cody Goforth. Ryan Butcher destroyed. That's good for 1 man, 1 team, though, if we can find him. Tony Wallen for Kyle Corbett Motorsports and Digital Motorsports. They are 12th right now. There's been so many crashes, a lot of random pit strategy. They came down pretty much pitted every caution. They're up in 12th right now, so looking for a top 10 in their debut outing. The only other team this year to do good in their debut outing, Tony Zhang Motorsports, was an 8th at the Sundrop 500. Ryan Butcher totaled. Riley Spurley tube. The day is done. Hagen Enterprises, none too happy with that. We'll have to watch a replay to see if there's any fault at that. Joseph Srigley, his day done. Cody Goforth, who was having a top 20 run, his day also done. So Steelback's starting to turn into a wreck fest like all the short tracks have been. It was a pretty good opening few stints. There was a lot of green flag racing, but now crashes after crashes coming to the end of this one. We'll see if we'll have our first green-white checkered of the season today. But Curtis, Porta, DeLello, and Gibson now have cleared Rainey. Could be a 4-car battle for the race win here at Steelback. Cautions breeding cautions, and this time Riley Spurleytube in the 61 is going to come off of the corner. Right there is Morris is going to actually clip the back of him, slides to the bottom, has no grip down there, tries to slow it down, but can't. Right into Onjak, Butcher, and more as they're going to pile in. Cody Goforth, Matthew Eves, Joseph Strigley also get a piece of it, and Irving Allison in the 30 as well. So a lot of cars involved in this one. Spurleytube getting hooked off of the corner by Morris. Butcher, Onjak, and others nowhere to go as Spurleytube comes back up the track. 7th caution of the day. We're back under the yellow flag here at Steelback. Lights on the pace car should go out this time by, and they do. We will go back racing with 20 laps to go. Curtis in the race lead, Porta second, DeLello third, Gibson fourth. Rainey is a lap car, but Edson fifth, Morris sixth, Rogers seventh, Foster eighth, Burkhardt up to ninth, Neal 10th. 11th, Kukulon. 12th, Wallen. 13th, now sits Bobo Jones. 14th, Matthew Eves. 15th is Austin Murray. 16th, Peter Onjak. 17th, Ryan Butcher. And now some lappers. Luke Rainey, Carter Friesen, and it looks like Stephen Wallace Jr. round out your top 20. So 17 on the lead lap. Steelback was looking to be a good race. There's been a lot of crashes lately, so let's hope we can maybe have a green flag run to the end. Curtis, Porta, DeLello, Gibson, your top 4. Gibson coming back from injury. Curtis coming back from 2 heartbreaks at the beginning of the season. Porta on a 4-year winless drought. And Zachary DeLello on a little over a year winless drought. Coming back to the race lead. Green flag is back in the air. 20 laps to go here at the Steelback Stadium. Porta with a good restart, but does he have enough to get under Curtis? Curtis stays up there. Gibson all over the back of team boss DeLello again. They are making a lot of contact coming out of there. Rainey shoved wide and into the outside wall as they come off. Jefferson runs wide. Hagan runs wide. I don't know why these guys continue to run wide through these corners, but Porta now all over the back. Morris pushing that 82 up is Rogers almost put him in the wall. Here comes Matty Porta for Sauber Racing Team. Can they go and get their first victory? Porta has never won with Sauber Racing Team. Rogers into the wall. Edson down pit road. Another problem for the 82 team is going to cost them a great run. But now Porta on the inside. Curtis runs it wide. Very wide. They stay side by side down the front. And Porta wants this win badly. Look at DJ Gibson in the 53 back there. Now Porta to the bottom again on Curtis. Can he try to make it clear? He's a bit ahead now this time. Can he dive it into 3 and 4? Matty Porta has never won for Sauber Racing Team, and he's going to get it right there. Clear into the lead goes Matty Porta with just 16 laps to go at Steelback. Curtis, can he fight back? Gibson now. Look at DJ Gibson in this 53. Can he perform the ultimate comeback and win this race? Now Curtis looking for the crossover. Can he get the run off the corner? Not going to happen there, but the top 3 under a blanket as they run right now. Can Porta finally get his first win with Sauber Racing Team after joining 2 years ago? Now to the inside of Curtis goes Gibson. Can DJ Gibson come back immediately, win this race? If he wins this race, it could be so much easier to get into the chase. Instead of having to gain a bunch of points to get inside the top 10, he might just win this thing and get a wild card slot. DeLello now to the inside of Curtis. Look who's in 5th. Brady Burkhardt has been on the move this race. He's back up into the top 5 with those slightly fresher tires than everyone else. Wait, never mind. They're not slightly fresher because they did have that caution where they all came down pit road and threw strategy out the window. Curtis hanging on over DeLello, but Gibson now chasing down Porta as Matty Porta is in the race lead and just 13 laps away for him to go ahead and get his maiden victory for Sauber Racing Team. Porta's only career win coming at Dover back in Season 2 of the Mountain Dew Custom Series. That's over 4 years ago. And now he is up here in the race lead trying to pull away and win this over Gibson and Curtis and DeLello and Burkhardt. 7 drivers look to be out of this one, a ton of lap down. Jacob Edson in that 82. Heartbreaking there. Don't know why he came in there, but he is out. Ryan Butcher right now 16th, last on the lead lap with a ton of damage. Just looking back through the field, seeing how they're running, seeing where everyone is. But the important thing, that entire first group all the way back to Morris in 7th is all lead lap drivers. That is all battles for position. Carter Friesen in the 85 is 17th. Neal is in 8th. But that's not what we're looking at right now. Up front is the battle. Porta trying to pull away, but Gibson and Curtis, the DJs, 2nd and 3rd. Fourth is DeLello trying to hang on over Burkhardt. Tib Foster in sixth, trying any line he can to try to gain. Again, it's hard to pass when there's some more cleaner air happening, but you see Burkhardt has a fast car. He's going to look to the inside of DeLello. DeLello just does not want to be taken out. He does not want to wreck. He's trying to hang on to this fourth position for the first top 5 and first top 10 of the season for this 57 team, but they're trying everything they can to hang on over Burkhardt in that 99. Gibson trying to chase down Matty Porta as Porta is out in front for SRT. Coming around, it'll be 9 laps to go. DeLello has gone wide. That's going to allow Burkhardt to the inside. So Brady is on the move. If he can get back up into 4th, he might still have a shot if he could just move around these top 3 quick enough. But DeLello's not going to let it go. He does not want to just settle for 5th. He wants a 4th position. Not going to happen as Burkhardt carries momentum through the corner. DeLello now trying to hang on over 5th. Over Tib Foster. Curtis might have got a piece of the wall there. But Porta and Gibson chasing down for this race lead. Can Gibson make the move? He has a big run coming off the corner. Right up to the back bumper of Porta. We have 8 laps to go. And he's going to go wide. Gibson goes wide. He just went way too wide. Overcooked the tires. Tried to push it. He's going to have to try to gain back in. Burkhardt now catching Curtis. The top 7 right now staying single file. Gibson trying to chase back down Porta, but that Solana number 20 is out in front. Could it be the Castrol curse for the 20 team? They have been Castrol for the past 2 seasons and have never won in those races with Castrol. I don't remember the scheme they ran in Season 2, but if that wasn't Castrol, well, we could be seeing a pattern here if he wins here in the Solana colors. But out in front, he's pulling away from Gibson and Curtis. Burkhardt in the Xfinity 99, too little too late. He moved his way through the field. The alternate strategy could have worked if this race went green, but it has not. Now Friesen to the inside of Morris. That's not a battle for spots. He's just trying to help maybe Tib Foster. I don't know. Maybe trying to help old buddy Tib. Looking further back, Tony Wallen right now sits 10th for that 42 team. In 11th, it looks like the rest of the field's damaged. There's Peter Onjak. Zach Rogers is dropping back, but Tony Wallen and Digital Motorsports is looking for a top 10 here in the closing laps in that 42 car. There was a spin, and that's going to be a caution. It looks like Ryan Butcher maybe. I don't know who it is, but that is not what Matty Porta wanted to see. Porta was 5 laps away from victory. He had the lead, and it's gone. Gibson, Curtis, Burkhardt will be on his back bumper. Not what DeLello wanted to see either. He had a nice gap over Foster built up, but now he's going to have to fight for that top 5. Doesn't look like anyone's coming down pit road. I wouldn't blame you. We might have only 2 laps to go in this race. Not a green-white checkered, but just 2 laps to go in general. But do we see our first green-white checkered finish? We'll have to see how many pace laps this takes to clean up. But we've seen yet another spin, and that's going to put us down. Porta, Gibson, Curtis, Burkhardt, DeLello, and Foster will be nose to tail for this restart. Can Matty Porta do it for Sauber Racing Team? Can Gibson get a win on his run back from injury? We'll find out in just a few laps, but we'll go ahead, take a quick look and see what happened to set up this final dash to the finish. We thought we could have this race go green, but this time Luke Rainey once again is going to get spun out, this time by Colton Lane as they head down into the corner. These back markers really just tearing cars up, tearing equipment up here at the end of this race. Porta thought he could pull away and win this one. Now he's going to have to defend on a late race restart. The first green-white checkered here in the SDCS happens now at Steelback. Back live here at Steelback, and if you notice on the ticker, it says lap 99 of 101. Should say lap 99 of 100, but this will be our first green-white checkered finish in the Sundrop Cup Series. The rules for the green-white checkered are simple. If you take the right flag, the race is official no matter what, because they do race back to the caution flag if it's the white. If a caution comes out before the white, we should rack them back up and go ahead for another green-white checkered finish. So Porta, he wants to see the checkered flag in first, but if he is in the race lead and he takes that white, that's more important. Gibson, Curtis, Burkhardt, DeLello, and Foster, pretty much the only ones that could have any say in this, but I think it's down to Porta, Gibson, and Curtis for this race win. Coming down, does Porta get a good restart? That's what he needs. Green flags back in the air here at Steelback. We're racing 2 laps to go. And Porta stays out in front. Gibson does not get as good of a restart as Porta did. Now off the corner, Porta is going to launch. Gibson on that inside. Curtis is all over the back of him. Problems. Gibson's down pit road. DeLello's down pit road. They're running out of fuel. Porta in the race lead in the 20 car. Can he hang on? Does he have enough over Curtis? Burkhart, we know, has enough because he pitted the latest out of everyone, of course. But Porta in the race lead, coming to the white flag. He's taken the white flag. Now, 2 more corners to go for the 20 team. It's been 4 years. He's never won on a road course. He's been a dominant on a road course, but has never won. Coming out of turn number 4, another winless drought broken. Matty Porta will win at the Steelback Stadium. 4 wide coming across the line back there. I don't think that was much for position. 8th, 9th, 10th there. We're fighting. Tony Wallen's going to come out with a 7th place finish for Digital Motorsports, a survival race for sure. But Matty Porta for Sauber Racing Team, he's done it. He has broken a 4-year winless drought and has taken the Italian driver with the Swedish team or Switzerland team, wherever Sauber's from. They take the victory, and the crowd on their feet. Heartbreaking for Zachary Racing with the drivers running out of fuel. But Matty Porta comes home and takes the victory at Steelback. He made the move for the race lead on Curtis and fought off Gibson, fought off drivers, and takes home the victory at Steelback. This race was pretty much the same as any other short track race. Cautions. Cautions were the change there. We saw in practice, guys were running wide. It was hard. The grip was just not there. These cars are faster than the MDCS cars. So they had just a little less grip probably coming off the corners, a little harder to put the throttle down. But Matty Porta comes out with the victory, and fans are going crazy in the stands. Porta with the victory, and you know, across the world, really, the Italian fans are going crazy. Sauber Racing Team back in victory lane for the first time in, I believe, 2 years. Heartbreaking, though. Zachary Racing, Gibson, and DeLello both running out at the end. I don't know what went wrong, but you're probably trying to save the fuel windows just at the edge of where these guys pit, so Edson also, I don't know what happened to Edson. Jefferson with that crazy pit strategy, not going to work. Was hoping for the caution fest to continue so he could stay on the lead lap. Just didn't happen, and the caution came out too late, trapped him a lap down. Colton Lane, the same with him. A lot of cars torn up, but give it up for Digital Motorsports. A 7th place finish in that 42 car. Tony Zhang Motorsports, on the other hand, they're not doing too good. However, if you remember, Tony Zhang Motorsports came out with a top 10 in their first start. So did Digital Motorsports. Zhang has not had a finish above the top 15, I don't think, and has had about 4 DNFs since Daytona. So really, I don't know if that's going to be good for Digital, but nice to see another full-time team in. A lot of cars were fighting to the end, but it is Matty Porta hanging on over DJ Curtis, over 3rd place Brady Burkhart, Tip Foster, Brandon Morris, your top 5. Neil up there, Zach Rogers, Austin Murray, only 12 cars on the lead lap, but DeLello comes home with 16th, Gibson 15th. Should have been 2 top 5s for them, and that just adds to the heartache that's been this season. 7 cars out of this one, so a lot of torn up race cars, but it's Matty Porta in victory lane for the 20 team. Congratulations to Sauber Racing Team, to Matty Porta, and you know he's going to be burning it down for the fans here in Pittsburgh. An exciting event next week. An even bigger crash fest of a race. We head to Darlington, and that'll be difficult for these guys in these brand new bulky stock cars to try to take on the 1.5 mile egg-shaped oval there in Darlington, South Carolina. We're ready for the Lady in Black to tear up some cars, and we'll see if we have the big one like we did last season. Thank you guys so much for watching the Sundrop Cup Series, and we'll see you guys next time on the NSDCA.